Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Tech Cruiser channel. My name is Howard. Got a lot going on with the Prusa there. It's been a pretty busy, pretty challenging week or two there, a little while, to get this whole thing up and running since the mosquito hot end upgrade. There's a couple of other things also that we've been kind of chewing through to get up and running. I apologize in advance if I start rambling. There's a lot of little things that have occurred and are occurring currently to get the Prusa to a point that I'm happy. Not that there was anything wrong with it, but with certain tweaks and certain mods and certain things that I kind of wanted to do, and I'm almost to a point where I'm done. But we're gonna get into that. So the mosquito hot end. I am loving the mosquito hot end. I have noticed significantly less ghosting. Now that could be the hot end itself. It could be a combination of things. And I'll get into that in just a little bit. But the installation of the mosquito hot end it's really not that difficult. If you bought the Prusa as a kit and assembled it yourself, then you should be somewhat familiar, if not a little bit rusty, with putting the hot end together. So the steps, it's basically just tedious. You take the extruder off, you disassemble it, make sure you don't lose any pieces, or any screws especially. You swap out the E3D parts on the extruder, the ones that Prusa printed, with the new ones that you printed. If you go onto Slice Engineering's website, they have a link to the Thingiverse that has the hot end adapter that they recommend. It's the one that I use, and it works very, very well. Basically, you just reassemble the hot end with the new parts. It goes together surprisingly fairly easy. The tolerances, if you printed a little bit slower with a little bit of a finer layer line, you really should have no problems. You shouldn't have to press the square nuts in as hard. And the other nuts you really shouldn't have to press in too hard, because the tolerances are just that much more precise, I found, at least when I printed it. So it went together very easily, if not a little long. It takes a little while to get it all back together, especially when you forget to do certain things or do things in the wrong order. I must have taken the hot end apart and easily 3-4 times put it back together. So it went together very well, went back onto the printer amazingly. We also did the dryland bearings, the Aegis dryland bearings on the X-axis. We got that all back together, and I do have to say, it's definitely quieter, and it definitely rattles and doesn't make as much noise as it used to. So that upgrade, definite success. The Slice Engineering the heater cartridge and thermistor install very easily. The heater cartridge just plugs into the old spot. Now the thermistor, because it's not directly supported or offered by Prusa, you do have to change the temperature tables. There is a really good guide, more of a video. You can just kind of pause it and follow those steps along. I'll put that link down below. Though disclaimer, it may take a while from the time I'm filming this to the time it gets to YouTube, because apparently I've run out of space on my laptop. So I got to look into upgrading the hard drive, not just for the videos, for everything. I have 1 gigabyte remain on my hard drive, or my SSD that's on there. So I'm gonna have to do that upgrade before I can even edit this to get it to you guys. So yeah, separate problem altogether. Like I said, there's all kinds of things going on. But yeah, I will put that down below. I believe it's Chris's basement. He's pretty thorough, pretty easy to follow. Guy who does a lot of like mods and tweaks with 3D printers. But I'll link that down below. Once you get the firmware tweaked and up and running, now it is running, and it prints very well. The hot end is amazing. Now it's the E3D hot end prints very well also, but the Mosquito hot end, I can't exactly explain it. Now the Mosquito hot end is designed to prevent heat creep. Now I don't believe I was experiencing heat creep, but they do have a way of localizing all of the heat right into the heater block. Now it is a copper heater block, and it's coated in some special magic space dust to kind of give it a scratch resistant and hardened outside, but it also functions to reflect the heat inward. So really only the heat block is where the heat is, and it's very quick to melt the plastic, but it takes a half a second longer to heat up initially. But I'm loving it. I'm not really seeing, excuse me, any layer artifacts or any of the other issues, print quality wise, that I was seeing earlier. The only ones that I am seeing are ones that come from me not having tuned it 100% correctly. Now I believe that I'm at a point where we kind of have that dialed in. I wound up having to, obviously it's a shorter hot end, so you have to redo the calibration and all that crap. But after I got it printing, I found that the layer adhesion between layers was not good. And like flanges and brackets on prints were very, very fragile and broke very easily. Now, this all came when I was printing mostly with the PET for Matter Hackers. But yeah, I also just had it happen last night with the Matter Hackers, the purple PLA. Now I think I kind of figured it out. I lowered the layer height on the Z like 3 or 4 notches, and it increased the flow rate from 95%, I believe it was, to like 103, 105, somewhere in there. So I'm hoping that the shorter distance and the increased plastic flow will cause the layers to bond better. We will see. So yeah, so it's working. I still have a couple of issues with homing. Like if during the mesh bed leveling, usually it's on the right side of the printer as you're looking at it. It'll say, oh, it's out of level, is there stuff on the shit? So, and then it's got to recalibrate the Z. Now, in doing this, when it does that Z calibration, it brings the extruder, the whole extruder assembly, back to the home. What is now happening, and I believe it's because of the tweak to the firmware, what I believe now is happening is it's resetting home as the current location that the hot end is, and causing all kinds of issues. I wind up having to turn off the printer, bring it back all the way to the left, redo the Z, and then redo the mesh bed leveling. So to fix that, I think I'm going to pick up just the regular heater cartridge, or the thermistor from E3D, just the regular 40 watt standard one that comes with the initial Prusa, because I was having those thermal runaway issues. So I think that'll bring us back to where we're at, and then I can just reflash the firmware, and that should fix the problem. Yes, it's not the upgraded heater cartridge. Fine. I don't really ever have a need to print right now, currently at 450 degrees. So the standard thermistor should be just fine. So that's the issue that I'm having with the Prusa right now. I have found a lighting solution, though it's not the same lighting solution. It's